Hello and welcome to the Ron Artest episode of the Hoop Theory podcast, aka episode 37. My name is Logan Wertman, and today, as always, I'm joined by my good friend Jacob Roth. Jacob, how's it going?
It is going fantastic. To all the haters out there, I apologize for not giving you the satisfaction of my defeat episode last week. My week kind of exploded after Monday, and that's when the game happened. So apologies for that. And check out the TikTok. Everything's under Hoop Theory, right? Just Hoop Theory, not Hoop Theory Pod or nothing crazy.
Just Hoop Theory. Hoop_theory.
Hoop_theory all over the place. It's either the new logo or the old logo. Twitter, everywhere. Great takes coming out there, and great shorts and things of that nature. So it'll be a lot of fun. Anyway, so sorry about that. We'll do a whole episode probably. Maybe not a whole episode, but I'll just record like 15 minutes of just sadness and just dilute. Something about when I'll never understand this. In any other sport, I'm a football guy first. So if you were to tell me the second or third best team in the NBA, we'll say third because I think they would beat the Lakers in a series of 7, personally. The Celtics would. I don't know if there's a time where I've been like, you know what the third best team in the NFL was that year? They should blow it up and almost entirely start over except for one piece. I've never seen that in any sport ever. Like, if last year would have told me, I think the San Francisco 49ers should blow it up. Fire their coach. Just get rid of everything that's not Deebo Samuel or Trent Williams. And football's a little different because there's so many more moving pieces, but like, that's just crazy to me. Mm-hmm. I get the CBA's looming and there's all these things, but it's just very interesting to me.
I guess I haven't seen the whole blow up everything. I've seen the Jaylen Brown trade.
So it's stuff. Ship out Jaylen Brown and then package because Peyton Pritchard wants gone. That's not at the same level of Jaylen Brown, obviously.
Peyton Pritchard's he wants gone. Is that what you said?
He asked if he could be traded.
Because he doesn't play enough or what?
Well, yeah, he barely got utilized. I totally don't blame the dude. If you look at him for what he is, could be
a decent
leader
backup.
of your bench unit.
For like a bad team.
No, for a bad team. Okay, but even if he's like
an average team, maybe
if you're a Charlotte Hornets, that's a bad example because point guard is literally
they have a lot of guards, yeah.
But like that level of team, or a Hawks if they lose Trae Young, you can just throw him in that second unit as just a spurt of offense because that's
how about
all
the
he
Nuggets?
Does. Sure. Just a spurt of offense into your second unit because a lot of the times the second unit's defense is not where you see the big drop off on the offensive side. Second unit struggle to score a lot of the time. Unless you're the Celtics where the only thing the second unit can do is shoot threes. Yeah. Like when they send in their
Sam Hauser.
It's like Sam Hauser, Cornette, Peyton Pritchard. Usually they have Al Horford out there with him who can also shoot.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just a bunch of 3-point guys as our second unit out. R.I.P. not Jared Vanderbilt. He went to Vanderbilt. Aaron Nesmith. I don't know why I said Jared Vanderbilt. Not a 3-point shooter, if anybody was wondering.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we'll do a whole thing on the Celtics and all that shenanigans. But this is not what this is about. Shout out to the Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
You've never got your true victory lap. You kind of did a little bit.
Yeah. I just feel like
a juggernaut.
Yeah, they are. I feel like I always try, I always attempt one, but I'm never quite satisfied with it. I just need to get a good one, I guess. But
you'll get one in 3 games. We'll give you just a full. You just run wild and say what you want, and it'll be glorious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's looking good. I mean, this is the past 2 series now. I didn't outwardly post anything or do anything public of saying what my prediction was for this series or last series, but somebody asked me, dang it, every time I say series now, my Siri on my laptop goes crazy. I don't know how to turn that off. Anyways, so the Western Conference Finals and the Finals, somebody asked me going into the Western Conference Finals how I felt about going against the Lakers, and I said, honestly, we should sweep this series. I don't know if that will happen, but that's what I feel like should happen. And that is what ended up happening. Going into this one, I had a similar feeling. I'm still not saying that we will sweep, but I feel like a 4 or 5 game series is more likely to me than a 6 or 7. That's for sure. I'm glad that things are looking the way that I thought, because the Heat kind of scare me with how they've proved everybody wrong every single round so far. But I also am like, how can they pull this off if like there's no way? Like Jokic is just too big. Everybody's too big for this Heat team. I think KCP is really the only guy on our team that's like guarding somebody bigger than him in Max Strus. So, and Christian Braun got in there and was guarding Jimmy. I liked seeing that.
Which that was something interesting that I saw because you posted some stuff in the Nuggets subreddit, and people were looking at it anyway. But I started looking at the Nuggets subreddit more than I ever have, and I saw somebody be like, "Does Christian Braun get used more in this series just because of like what he does?"
Mm-hmm.
And then game 1, it looks like that person's a wizard.
Yeah.
I don't remember who it was, but no, it was just because Christian Braun's lack of usage has been something that's plagued you emotionally for the past, they went 82 plus 6 plus 5 plus 6 plus 4, whatever the math on that one is. That's how many games it's plagued you of like the lack of use of Christian Braun.
Yeah, there's a couple stretches where I was upset about him not playing, but for the most part, Michael Malone's had him in his rotation. We took him out at the beginning of the Lakers series. I want to say I'm pretty sure he made it all the way through the Sun series. Like he played every single game as one of our 8 rotation guys this whole postseason up until the Lakers series game 1, I think. He went in and within like a minute he had one like mistake in a rotation defensively. Like I think like LeBron slipped to the rim for an open layup or something like that. And then he got pulled, he got taken out and he never got back in the rest of the series. But that's kind of like a Michael Malone thing with young guys. They have very, very short leashes, hence Michael, like what you just said would be a better descriptor of how I felt about Michael Porter Jr. early on.
For a long time.
Yeah. So, and we've seen that continue into this season a little bit, which I don't know if the order of things we want to go in, but
this is a perfect segue.
Yeah. So Michael Porter Jr., I said last episode or a couple episodes ago that I still don't like how he's like the fall guy when we need to switch to a defensive lineup. Like we're not getting good stops or whatever. And in crunch time, Michael Malone decides to switch to go all defense or as much defense as possible, like within reason, while still keeping your offensive guys in there. And he takes out Michael Porter Jr. and puts in Bruce Brown.
And leaves in Jamal Murray was the big thing that you were
leaves in Jamal Murray. And it's like, I mean, Bruce Brown is a good defensive player, but he doesn't cover the same type of things on the team that Michael Porter Jr. does. It's like
Bruce Brown doesn't have a 7-foot wingspan.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's the cut and dry of it. And one thing I think that was interesting to me, and you talked about that he's like a net positive defender. One thing that I don't think that he's into the level of this all-star superstar yet. But one thing that I found interesting is you can tell he's trying more on the defensive side, especially at game 1, because he struggled offensively. And like, not that that's a bad, but it's because he was like, he was working hard on the defensive end to take away passing lanes and I think he was a huge part of that Gabe Vincent, not because he was directly on him, but the Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, and Nevada Wolfpack legend Caleb Martin struggling. I think that like him just being a presence around he was a big part of them all struggling from deep, from anywhere, because he just that length was everywhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is not the Michael Porter Jr. that I thought I was going to be watching. This is wild. Just because it's like he saw that, I don't know if he saw that Jokic and Murray were cooking, or if he just got told, hey, we really need the defense on these off-ball guys. We can't let them kill us. But he was like on the zone defensively. It hurt his offense, but if you're going to do that on the defensive end, who cares? He was huge.
Yeah. And I'm not worried about him offensively.
No, you should not be. That's not what I meant from that one at all.
Yeah, he's gonna catch fire in a couple of these games and hit a lot of threes. So I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, defensively, man, like this postseason and really throughout this entire season, I've been saying it because of this new system that the Nuggets have been running. I say new, but like we've run it in the past.
They finally have the right personnel to do it as a whole unit.
Yeah.
What I think. The pieces are healthy.
Yeah. And the main thing is that it's like we've actually very consistently used it. Like in the past, we only used it when we had to. So in that Warriors series, you know, it was really tough because the way that Michael Malone typically, like by default, likes to run our defense is having Jokic in the drop. And then, so we're playing against the Golden State Warriors, and Jordan Poole, that series at least, was like a second Steph Curry. So we had two on-ball guys that were, you know, running pick and rolls that could just shoot the lights out while pulling up. And it was like, we're gonna die. Like we can't do this. So that's when we switched to a thing that we have used before, but never for like long stretches and never in the playoffs. And that was having Jokic up at the level of the screen, like containing the ball, hedging on the screen, and then having the low guy, which usually is Porter, sometimes it's Jeff Green, sometimes it's Aaron. Like one of those guys comes over to tag the roll and protect the rim, and then Jokic will just rotate over to whoever that guy left on the wing. And that was really hard to execute as just a whole team, like communication wise, just on the spot in the playoffs against one of the best teams in the world. And yeah, so it didn't do so well. But this year I loved that we were using that from the get-go, like almost against, like if there was any sort of reasonable doubt, like it's like, oh, this guy that's running pick and rolls against us, can he shoot? Sometimes, like so let's just do it anyways, you know, instead of the default being the other way around. Like there was a few matchups like against Shea, you know, for example, and regular season Jimmy Butler, who doesn't catch fire from three.
Doesn't shoot 47% from the 3-point line or whatever crazy number is that.
Or Russell Westbrook, you know, something like that. We run the drop against them. But other than that, it's always Jokic up at the level. And so Michael Porter Jr. has had to learn that system this whole year, and he's been doing really good at it. Honestly, I think he's the best player on our team at that, at the concept of moving over to meet somebody at the rim. Like he's really long. He's like sneaky athletic. I know like he doesn't look super mobile all the time because of his back surgeries. Like he's pretty stiff, but I feel like he's still got that vertical pop, you know?
One of the most entertaining plays of that entire game one was that looked like it wasn't just a super missed floater by Bruce Brown, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say it was an on-purpose off-the-glass oop. But he just went up and he just was like floating and then threw it down. And that was kind of like a punch because it was early. I think that was like the first time the Nuggets got up by double digits or close. Like it was early enough that it was like just a punch near the end of the first quarter. And you're like, this could snowball.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll get, because it was Bruce Brown that I don't know what the shot was. I'm going to hope it was a pass and it wasn't a shot.
No, that was definitely a shot. Yeah, he does that a lot. Like he's usually pretty good at those floaters, but sometimes they're
If it
looks ugly.
Michael Porter Jr. was there. Hustle guy Michael Porter Jr. That's a sentence I never thought I would have said when he came out of Missouri. Hustle man Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, I think he's the most underappreciated guy in terms of like, you know, talking about guys this year that have bought into their roles, you know, sacrificed a lot of their usage and stuff like that. Like he's
Malcolm Brogdon.
Okay, yeah, Malcolm Brogdon would be up there too.
He got a sixth man of the year.
Exactly, he got recognized for it. I think Porter, like he's just fits exactly what we need him to do. He's basically turned into a 3-and-D player, which is not at all what he was touted as coming into the league. You know, he's supposed to be a one-on-one scorer, but yeah. So I love that. So Porter on defense, just overall, I think he's a positive this year. I'll just leave it at that.
So there's your flowers, Michael Porter Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Good job. Proud of you. So I told Logan I was going to come into this podcast with a little bit of heat, a little bit of teenage angst, and a lot of it is because of this poverty franchise known as the Denver Nuggets, feeling like they are underappreciated by everyone ever, and no one gives them any love. So now that the national media has finally watched one of your games, can people stop complaining? I'm just kidding. I'm not, but I am a little bit. So I'm not a Nuggets person. I've always appreciated Jokic from afar. Like Logan's known me for. I've never been like that guy's gonna suck. I've just been like, yeah, Jokic, that's entertaining, and especially as he's grown, I'm like, that's dope. Just like skinny Jokic, the old fat Jokic of like 350-pound Jokic, then evolving into crazy skinny. Then he ballooned up a little bit. Now I think he's a healthy in the middle between the two, where he's still got the mass. But anyway, it's I guess I don't obviously like when you're the fan of a team, like whenever ESPN or the bald loser Michael Wilbon or Desmond Howard throws shade at Nebraska in any way, shape, or form because they wanted to play football in 2020, I get like genuine anger rising up inside of me. So I get it to a certain extent, but I don't necessarily feel the Nuggets hate from the national media as a self-proclaimed big market stan, apparently, is what I am exclusively. I only pay attention to big markets. So what am I missing? I guess when it comes to how the national media, quote unquote, covers the Nuggets. Now that they've won game one seriously, Jokic has, as I so poetically put earlier, looked across the bracket and told Joel Embiid to suck it.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, what were they doing that was just robbing the Nuggets as a small market team from the coverage they deserve?
Yeah, I think. Okay, so I wouldn't say that I think they're hating on the Nuggets. Like, if what you're looking for is people from ESPN like saying things that are mean about the Nuggets, I don't know if that's what people are talking about. I think it's more so the just like dismissing, like not taking the Nuggets like as a serious contender that they've shown to be. Okay. If you watch the Nuggets throughout this entire season, they should have been considered the best team in the West. Like this entire,
not a question.
Yeah. And
okay, but I also don't, I like listen to like people that I think are not high on the Nuggets, but like Kevin O'Connor, we've talked about him a lot. Weird supervillain arc this year, which we talked about off the air, but like, I guess so I don't ingest the straight national media thing. Like I don't watch ESPN regularly. I watch Colin Cowherd's show, but I don't go there for the basketball takes. So I guess so I don't know exactly what the national media was doing. Even
the Ringer, to a certain extent. Like there's some Jokic like stands at the Ringer, the people that watch a lot of Nuggets. But there are some people that I was like Van Lathan, Sirit Sohi, a few other people, even Kevin O'Connor. I mean, he picked the Lakers to win the Western Conference Finals. I think he picked the Suns against the Nuggets also.
Well, this is also, that's not normal him. He's been abducted.
Yeah.
Kevin, if you need help, call us. I don't know what happened. The next thing he's going to tell us is he's like, he doesn't love Killian Hayes anymore. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's been weird.
This whole year, he's just been, not like the takes aren't bad, but usually, I think you've even said, like, usually you're step for step. Like,
yeah.
When it comes to takes, you'll stand back to back with the man and fight hordes. But this year, he's just been missing for me personally.
Yeah, he really has, especially with talking about Jokic and also the Grizzlies. Like, I mean, he's kind of right on the Grizzlies this year, but he also
he's like, it's who you are, who you hang around. Vernon is just poisoning him, not in a bad way, just poisoning him, just injecting whoop that trick into his veins.
Yeah, but I think. So I guess what I mean by that is when him and Verno have been talking this year, he's just been way more like he'll just say something like, oh, I can't wait to see the Grizzlies lose, like get swept in the first round or, something like that. Or he'll make a comment about how De'Aaron Fox is the far superior point guard to John Morant. Like he was saying stuff like that throughout the season. And like Verno would not react to what he was saying. And then like as soon as KOC had a chance to talk again, he would just repeat it. Like he just like kept saying things over and over, trying to get Verno to react. It was like things that KOC just does not do normally. He's just doing. It was kind of weird. But anyways, that was kind of a tangent.
What team does he play for?
The Sacramento
I'm only a big market guy. I've never paid attention to any of the small markets. That's the only comment that actually almost got under my skin. That's out of all of the ones saying I sniff glue and I eat paint chips and that I don't know anything about basketball or I'm a expletive idiot.
Mm-hmm.
The only one that got me was, this is just some small market. It wasn't even mean. It just was just like a guy saying, that's just a guy that only paid. He's a big market stan. I'm like,
yeah.
what?
And like I said to you, I think where that guy's coming from is he probably, because I'm posting the Nuggets Reddit, I have a Nuggets sign on my wall behind me. He probably thinks that I'm from Denver, and therefore you are. Well, you weren't wearing that hat in that clip.
No, okay, but I was like, I wear this hat all the time. But
yeah.
Okay.
So he might have thought that you also were at least from around Denver, like you should be a Denver fan, but you're not. And that's a pretty reasonable thing to assume because, like we said, Nuggets have historically been a poverty franchise. So a lot of people who should be in the Nuggets market are fans of other teams. Yeah. So, and lots of those people tend to be Celtics and Lakers and Warriors fans, as they do all over the country. But Bulls too, I guess. But
you're about to get an influx of about 17 million fat 12-year-olds that are going to be Nuggets fans.
Nuggets fans, yeah.
I am Big Honey. I'm like, I'm just waiting for the influx of like just Big Honey T-shirts and like it'll just be like a bunch of tubby kids.
Yeah. Modeling their game after Jokic. If we see more Jokic's come to the league,
I think that's healthy for basketball. I think more Curry's wasn't necessarily healthy. Like necessarily. Like it just changed what people worked on. But Jokic is just like, if we just get like a million facilitators with one guy on every team that is just a cold-blooded killer, but everyone else just is like, I like to facilitate. I love horses. The NBA will be good for many years to come.
And to be honest, I don't think we'll see another Jokic, but
no.
The people,
same way
I guess,
won't see another LeBron. The same way we won't see another true Michael Jordan. Kobe got pretty close. Illegitimate. Some Jimmy Butler has moments, but there's. Have you seen somebody did the math that Michael Jordan played in Dallas for like a 2-game series 9 months before Jimmy Butler was born?
Was it Dallas or Houston?
One of the two. I think it was Dallas. I thought it was Fort Worth. I thought that's where the Jimmy Buckets resided previously.
No, he's from Houston, Tomball, Texas.
Then it must have been Houston. Anyway, 9 months before there was like a 2-game series, or like a back-to-back where they played the same team, and it was 9 months before Jimmy Butler was born.
Yeah, I don't think he's met his dad. I think that's
he doesn't
true.
know his dad, from what I understand.
But his dad is named Jimmy Butler, like he's named after him.
Maybe Michael Jordan has an alias.
Well, okay. I think there's a human out there that his mom attributes his life to. It might not be true. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Like he does have a guy who.
What if Jimmy Butler's like a 6'3" white guy?
Yeah, I don't know what he looks like. But.
Like that's hilarious. Anyway, doesn't matter. But my point is, there's some just people that we will never see again. Like we probably won't see the level of like Steph Curryness again. Maybe him, but like there's just guys we won't see again. LeBron's frame with LeBron's skill set, Jokic's frame and build with his demeanor, I think is what keeps Jokic so pure.
That's the thing. I think that might be the thing that people can replicate or at least draw from to a degree. But the thing I think that is just like you can't be him is his like natural ability to just throw people. Like he reads the game so fast.
How his brain.
Yeah, and the way he can just like Kevin O'Connor, he's mentioned this before. Going back to him, he said that he interviewed Jokic like 5 years ago. Asked him, "Do you practice some of those crazy passes that you throw?" And he was like, "No, I've never practiced passing before. It's just I look and the ball goes where I want it to."
Okay, actually, he's Magneto, but it's rubber instead of metal.
Yeah,
he's just not telling anyone.
Yeah, exactly. He just has this natural ability to pass a basketball. That I don't know if many. It's it's a gene that I feel like few people have had, like the Larry Birds and the Magic Johnsons and that type of thing.
So in what 15 years, Jokic's daughter will just run the WNBA if it's genetic.
Yeah, could be, honestly.
But is the NBA just going to turn into like Serbians and
Balkan people, Yugoslavia?
Yeah, and we also can't forget. I don't want to say the wrong country because that'll get me in.
Who's the player?
Olajuwon. Giannis is also kind
Nigeria.
of from there. Is it Nigeria? I couldn't remember if it was. Embiid is Cameroon.
Yep, which is right next to Nigeria. They border each
It'll
other.
be that, and then Serbia, that area. That'll be the entire NBA. The only role that American white guys will play will be the hustle guys off the bench.
Hustle guys. Yeah.
Oh man, I need to find that video again. So
I saw it on TikTok also after you shared it on Instagram.
It's a funny. Anyway, we're talking about a song where a guy like wrote a song about like American white guy.
Yeah.
Basketball.
You can probably find it just by searching that.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Anyway,
we've got off on a tangent.
Several.
But that's just how we roll here at the I almost said Next Man Up podcast. On the Hoop Theory podcast.
Another tangent. I saw there's a YouTube channel that started like 6 months ago that's actually doing really well. It has like 20 something thousand subscribers called The Next Man Up. And they do hockey stuff.
Oh no, The Next Man Up that I've seen is like I think it's Next Man Up, but it's a guy that played tight end at Penn State.
Was he before we did our podcast though?
No.
Oh,
our podcast doesn't count.
Well, like, no, I'm saying that there were, when we made that podcast, there were several out there that were small, like, but there was nothing notable, you know, like there was no like notable Next Man Ups out there when we started, and we weren't either. I'm just saying, But anyways, I was just saying that I saw on YouTube there's a channel, Next Man Up, that started since we have become Hoop Theory.
And that one's a hockey one. But there's a I can't think of his name. He doesn't play football anymore because I think he got cancer and then tried to play football again. I'm pretty sure he was at Penn State tight end.
Ryan something? Is his name Ryan?
Penn State tight end. It's Next Up. And it is Adam Brenneman.
Okay. Next Up.
But it's Next Up with Adam Brenneman. So that's what I thought you were referring to. But I saw that there was also a hockey one that's Next Man Up, which is way more fitting because there's like three lines.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of rotation players, for hockey.
In hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Like unless you're like goated with the sauce or a goalie, you're like just constantly rotating.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten really into the National Lacrosse League. This can be a not podcast conversation. Anyway.
So Nuggets are victims.
Yes.
We were talking about that.
Nuggets fans are victims.
I don't know if we wrapped that up at all, but
that's also in like a half joking. I just have never understood, but also if you're not looking for it, you don't see the disrespect.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the big thing.
And maybe that's where I'm just like.
But yeah, it was just like the way that I see people reacting to Jokic this year. It makes me happy on one hand, but also kind of mad at the same time. Especially with like the teams when they say like, I saw some comments earlier. I think it was on Twitter about somebody saying, "Oh man, the Nuggets just built a really good team. You know, they just work really well or something like that." I'm like, we should have been this for 2 years now. Like, it just makes me mad because it's like people should have seen this a while ago. It's just
I will counter playing the devil's advocate and say that Jokic has always been an elite, really, really good player. But in the past year or two, not that you wouldn't have been close, he's jumped up a level. Where like if games demand,
I'm talking about his MVP his 2 MVP years.
I would argue his first MVP year. I don't know if it would have happened.
I feel like
same level.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying we for sure would have been in the finals, but okay, this guy, you know, we talk about the playoff success thing, and how, you know, people talk. It's just stupid. That's another thing about the national media of how people were talking about Jokic as if he's not won, like he's had bad playoff performance or bad playoff success,
which he never has.
He never has, and his team really, it's like
they're just doing outmanned or outgunned.
Yeah, exactly. But even with that, even given that stretch so like half of his playoff career has been destroyed by injuries on his team, he still has made more conference finals than he has lost in the first round.
Okay, I'm tracking. My brain had a stroke there, but I figured it out.
The Nuggets have lost in the first round once.
And he's
like
moved to the conference
there's tons of teams that don't make
conference finals.
Yeah, there's tons of teams that don't win playoff rounds, and like if you win a playoff round, you're usually a really good team, you know. And we did that in that year without Jamal and I mean Porter was playing that year, but he wasn't. He was doing nothing. He could barely move. Yeah, and then when we ran into like an actual championship caliber team, they just had that, that difference was just shown through those 4 games. That's why we lost in a sweep to Phoenix. But anyways, yeah, I guess I feel like the way people react to the Nuggets just shows like this level of they completely are surprised. Like a lot of people, it seems like they're surprised. And that's what bothers me, is people being surprised. Like on ESPN, Kendrick Perkins talking about how like nobody was expecting the Nuggets to make the finals. It's just like,
that's crazy.
Why were you not?
I was so disconnected, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Because I texted you as soon as the Bucks lost, I would have felt good as my chances as a Nuggets fan. The second the Bucks went down. Yeah. Because Giannis is like an anomaly that you can't you alone can't solve. Like it's hard to.
Yeah, and we've talked about
body has betrayed him more than other teams have stopped him.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But honestly, we've talked about this before. I was slightly, I wouldn't say definitely more, but I feel like I was slightly more afraid of the Celtics than I was the Bucks, just because I feel like we match up pretty decently against the Bucks. But
my thing with the Celtics is Jokic is the way the Celtics beat Jokic is you beat us, you score. No one else, the passing lanes will be gone. You one-on-one against Al Horford or Robert Williams III, or for some stupid reason, Marcus Smart, cook us. And you have to score 60 a game to beat. And then Jokic figured out how to beat that against whoever tries to do it to him. And I think that's the thing is, and we can also go into, after this, get back into the finals on how the defense of the Nuggets just like reverse Uno card what teams used to do Jokic, but instead of making their best player do it, they made Bam Adebayo be the guy that beat him. Fun fact, he didn't. But I think that like watching how the Celtics played the Nuggets this year, if you take last year's Celtics and this year's Nuggets, I think that's a knockdown, drag out fight type of series. But like, I don't know. This year, just watching Jokic this year, it's clicked in his brain. He knows how to like, attack a team that wants him to attack to beat them. Because he does it to a point where he scores quickly or whatever he does, and then the one passing lane, he thinks and the ball goes where he wants it to, and his guy's got a 3 or whatever it is. He's moved past that. Like, he cooks teams so bad they don't just want to let him do that and try to slow down everybody else like teams used to, because that was the way to stop the Nuggets previously.
Yep, and that's what the Suns did to him. In Game 4, and when he scored 53, and we still lost. Yeah, so I guess the other key or other part of it is like I agree with you that that's like the crux of what the game plan is, that you're forcing Jokic to score. And he just has this natural like reluctance to do that, and he's kind of cracked into that, gotten more like he'll go to it earlier when he recognizes it now. But the other thing is, the other detail that I think that separates the Celtics from everybody else trying to copy them is the Celtics are so good at defending entry passes, like post entry passes to get him the ball where he needs it, and also that like couple that with the Nuggets don't have like a point guard. Like Jamal is probably the best entry pass thrower on our team. And I don't think he played one of the Celtics games this year. And
I know he played the
one we won.
No, because I'm going to be wrong, but I'm almost positive he played the one that was in Denver.
Yeah.
When they just
on New Year's Day. Yeah.
On New Year's Day or
But the one back in November, where the Celtics destroyed the Nuggets, I don't think Jamal was playing that game.
They also shot like out of. I remember that's because I rub in every time the Celtics play the Sixers. I didn't rub that one in because the Celtics shot like I think it was like 60% from three.
Yeah,
for
it was
no
pretty
reason.
crazy.
It was like this not my team's better than yours and we outwilled you. It just was like basketball Jesus decided that Denver was going home with an L that day.
Mm-hmm. But like all the things that I love about Bruce Brown, I gave him his flowers last episode. One of the things that he is just the worst at is throwing entry passes. Like he cannot enter the ball to Jokic in the post. He is so bad. He'll either overthrow him out of bounds or throw him a bounce pass that is so low that it'll bounce up to only his shins. And, he has Marcus Smart on his back pushing him while he bends over to try to catch that, that type of stuff. That's the Celtics just annoy me with the stuff like that. It's just, they're so aggravating with how they just don't let him get the ball. They're swarming him all over the place. Yeah.
And then the thing for me that's always confusing is the defense took a back seat in the Joe Mazzulla regime for sure, which I don't love. Because if you go back to last season's episodes, I love the defensive side. The way the Celtics play defense was this is awesome. Every dude is active on defense at the bare minimum. There's not a net negative defender out there on the court. Jaylen Brown off ball, not exactly net positive, but on ball, it super makes up for it, or at least it did for a long time.
Yeah.
But that took a backseat this year, and I think that was ultimately the biggest downfall is the fact that defense took a backseat. I would have rather been a 4 seed coming into this playoffs, or whatever seed you want to give us, and not have that crazy regular season. If it means that our offense is not so reliant on the 3-pointer. Anyway, there's going to be a whole Celtics sadness episode, but
that won't be this episode. You want to do that after the season? Is that what we're doing?
No, I just want to give the Nuggets time to get their flowers. We don't have a ton of time here today as we're kind of fitting it in, so there's not 2 weeks without people hearing
about this series.
Big Market Stan and Nuggets legend Logan Wortman. So
Big Market Stan. Is that just your new name on the podcast? Is that
I think I'm gonna get a tattoo.
Okay.
Just across my neck. Big Market
Stan. Yeah, that was the other thing. You got mad about the Celtics, the usage of the word big market, which I understand because Boston isn't this mecca,
And this is only in basketball. I've never understood this thing where Boston gets called this big market. I'm like, Boston's not that, it's got
it's more of just a big brand than,
And I understand that now because people are gonna be like, you didn't know what big market meant. I was confused because I'm like, it's not LA. It's not an LA.
Yeah.
The city of Boston itself. It's not an LA. It's not a New York. It's not a Miami. But the brand of the Boston Celtics, because they're not a poverty franchise like the Denver Nuggets. Clip that, you small market stan.
I'm not even offended by that, by the way, because it's true. The Nuggets,
but there's been bright spots that Nuggets fans forget about, like Alex English. If Michael Jordan didn't exist, one of the most entertaining shooting guards in the 80s into the 90s. And then you had
David Thompson.
No, he had a
Dan Issel.
His name changed. He went. No, it's
Birdman.
In the 90s.
Chris Jackson is his real name.
No, it was Chris Jackson and
Mahmoud Abdul Rauf.
No, because my favorite part is with I struggle with the first name. Mahmoud Abdul Rauf.
Yeah, Rauf.
If you flip two of them or make one of them Muhammad, it's like a leader of the Taliban.
What?
Like there's a leader of the Taliban whose name is like Muhammad Abdul Rauf or something like that.
Okay.
That's a totally unrelated note.
I thought you were talking. Okay.
I had a previous conversation about this. Chris Jackson is what I formerly knew. Bucket, straight walking bucket. But he was like the lull in between Alex English and I got a cookie. Cherry Kool-Aid. So there's this place.
Got a cookie? Is that what you said?
That does these cherry Kool-Aid cookies.
Why?
They're so good.
Cherry Kool-Aid.
Can we cut out this part? The part. People can know.
Because you don't want people to know that you live in.
I don't care. It's just weird to me a little bit.
Oh. Okay.
The reason it's weird to me is
because it's small.
Had somebody follow me.
What do you mean? Like in real life?
I think so. Well, it was in real life for sure. I think they were following me because I got out and then somebody like talked to me because I was talking to somebody, so they heard me, and then the thing came up. So then I start driving home, and then they're whatever. I take a main road to get home, so I didn't think anything. But then I turned on the and they followed me. Then I turned on and they followed me. And then I just was like, this is kind of weird. So I turned again, followed me again, and I took this crazy random jigsaw and then stopped at a park because it weirded me out. And once I went to the park, they kept driving.
And it was because you were already talking to them? You talked to them already? Is that what you said?
Yeah. I was talking to them about, like, it was just weird to me. Maybe I forgot something and they were trying to be nice, but they were just giving it to me at the park.
Yeah. All right. Well,
that was sorry. That's more work for you.
The bridge. You were saying the bridge from Mahmoud Abdul Rauf Mahmoud Abdul Rauf was the bridge.
Taliban.
Yeah. No, but he was the bridge from Alex English
the Melo
into
era.
Melo.
Like the Melo-ish era.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Mahmoud Abdul Rauf era also is kind of the Dikembe Mutombo era as well at the same time. But before Alex English, David Thompson, he's probably like the cultural GOAT of the Nuggets. Like all the old head Nuggets fans, like he's like it, you know.
That's interesting. So Nuggets fan look at David Thompson, because I look at Alex English as the best Nugget.
I don't know if they would say he's better than Alex English, but it's like an Allen Iverson type of thing. You know, like Allen Iverson, like he gets brought up in the GOAT of like basketball culture, you know, more so than like the actual player.
Yeah,
GOAT.
Because he was good, but
he wasn't like Michael Jordan.
No.
Yeah.
Also, this hasn't gotten brought up either. The Nuggets don't retire Melo's 15.
I think they do. I think they retire them together.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I think they should. I mean, I think that was petty. What Carmelo did was petty. I understand that. But Nuggets, like, you don't see any team, like the way LaMarcus left Portland was not, that was like a similar thing. And LaMarcus is even lower of a caliber player than prime Carmelo was. And Portland doesn't let anybody use, jersey number 12. Like, still, nobody can wear 12.
And
they gave out.
They'll give him a proper retire because they haven't actually retired it yet.
No,
technically, I don't think
they haven't retired Brandon Roy's either. But they don't let anybody take 7, and he was only there for like 2 or 3 years. Really,
so you think that they should have told Jokic beat rocks Serbia?
And the thing is, 15. Jokic wasn't even the first guy they gave 15 to after Carmelo.
Did they give it to somebody like right after he left?
Yeah, they gave it to
Anthony Randolph.
Was who it was?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So they've earned this dilemma. The front office of the Denver Nuggets has earned
like they couldn't wait to hand it out to somebody. Like
that's crazy.
Exactly.
So yeah, no, they earned the strife that they're going to have to think about and deal with. My other buddy that's a Nuggets fan doesn't think that they'll retire Melos.
I feel like it's not that big. It wouldn't be that hard of a situation. Okay. You can just have a 15 Anthony and a 15 Jokic up in the, who's going to care?
No, and I think that it would be a problem if it was 2 Carmelo Anthonys, personality. But since one of them is Jokic, he's not going to care.
Wait, what?
If you had 2 people with the okay, let's say that Paul Pierce.
I see what you're saying. Somebody the same caliber as Melo. And you're retiring.
Personality, though. Because I think when it's all said and done, is Jokic not going to be a better player than Carmelo Anthony? Is he already there?
Well, he's already there, yeah.
That's what I mean.
And I'm the biggest Carmelo fan, of all time. And
irrationally so. You still follow Syracuse, which is wild. Those wins don't even count.
Well, Carmelo's did, but Fab
Melo's
didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The other Melo.
Versed in my orange men's basketball.
There was 2 decades later, or a decade and a half.
I thought they vacated his title.
No. Oh, no. They didn't cheat. They didn't cheat. Well, Melo, there was what they got busted for.
Let's be careful. They didn't get caught.
Okay. There's no proof that they did anything back then. The only thing that they got caught for was Fab Melo was failing. He had a 1.1 1 GPA or whatever, and he was still playing.
That's hilarious. But anyway, also what a guy to do that for. In the hindsight, like the history of basketball. But anyway, that's interesting. But if Jokic wasn't this, for lack of a better term, I don't care. Like if they asked him, hey, how do you feel? His answer would be, I don't care. Carmelo was a great player. I'm glad he got his flowers. Mm-hmm. That'll be like verbatim his answer.
Yeah.
The same way he did with Joel Embiid. Don't be mean. That was so funny.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He just told the national media, or sorry, only the local media, because national media doesn't care about the Nuggets. He just told the media, don't be mean to Joel. He's a good player.
Well, he said, I think people are just being mean when they're talking about Joel not deserving his MVP. I think he deserved the MVP. Yeah.
But anyway.
Anyways, I guess I don't know where you're bringing us back to, because I don't remember.
We've ignored the Miami Heat this entire time. They've just slid under the radar.
Yeah, but I don't know if I was in the process of answering a prompt that you gave me, and if we've wrapped that up or not. With the
poverty program.
You were in the middle of talking about your market stuff, I guess.
I pretty much wrapped it up. I just didn't understand. But I get the Boston's a big brand, but Boston as a market isn't this like ginormous.
Yeah. Yeah. And I understand that, because I think most people, when they do say market, they do mean what you're talking about, like the hypothetical fan base around the city that you're based in, that type of thing.
And that's a little different because Boston gets pretty much everything that's not New York in the Northeast.
Yeah. They get all New England.
Yeah. I mean, it's the New England Patriots, I get, but also like, unless you live in New York, most people don't like New York. And so like the Patriots or the Celtics or the whoever are the balls, as that legendary video. They're going to win because Boston's the balls. That's a great video.
I'm guessing like Connecticut and Rhode Island and all them, they're probably Boston. Yeah.
Maine Red Claws, brother.
Yeah. Maine. The Nuggets, you know where the Nuggets G League team is?
Is it Rapid City?
Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah. That would be awesome if it was Rapid City, like Michigan, or not Michigan, South Dakota.
Yeah, that would be also triple stupid. But yeah, like in terms of logistics, that's dumb. I don't know why I said that.
Well, it would be actually close to Denver.
Also, thinking of
Grand Rapids is nowhere close.
Think about close. Just down our road, there was a video that went on the Sports Center everywhere for those people that watch the national media, saying who's the real Melo when Melo retired.
Oh yeah.
This video was taken in Omaha because if you look, you can see it on the thing, and all these little idiots are wearing Creighton t-shirts.
Yeah.
Just saying, Creighton kids have lower IQ than normal kids because all the Creighton's kids said that the real Melo was LaMelo Ball.
Mm-hmm.
What?
To be fair, there were a couple kids that said Carmelo.
There were a couple. None of them had a Creighton Blue Jays shirt on.
I can't confirm or deny that.
Because I looked. I can confirm. There's going to be one Creighton person that listens to this like out of nowhere. Just they're a Nuggets fan, listen to a podcast, catch this flack. I don't know if I've ever talked about my hatred of Creighton before on here.
Yeah, we have. When we talked about the tournament, we did.
Also, Kesey's back. Nebraska basketball is rolling. Anyway, let's get back to the finals. The Denver Nuggets did a very good thing. I've wrapped up my big markets. Is there anything you wanted to add to that?
Not really, I guess, other than like I was talking about the definition, like market size. To me, if you call Boston a big market, it makes sense because they're a huge brand, and that essentially is what, at the end of the day, that's what a market is.
Yeah, and that makes more. I thought because I'm like Denver itself is bigger than Boston, but the metro area of Denver is like a couple million smaller than Boston. Isn't that what we figured out? Or
yeah, Boston's just in a huge cluster
of just a bunch of big cities.
Yeah, and Denver's kind of all by itself. Well, I mean, there's obviously some pretty decent sized suburbs, but it's nowhere close to like an East Coast metropolis.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, I think that's all I've got for that. But I just want to give the flowers to the Denver defense, or maybe it's Mike Malone. I'm going to be interested watching game 2. What are the Miami Heat going to do against the Jamal Murray Jokic pick and roll? I expect Spoelstra to cook something up because that's why they lost. They couldn't stop that at all.
Yeah, that's why everybody's lost to the Nuggets but far.
No one else has had Eric Spoelstra.
Yeah.
Never been coach of the year. That will never not blow my mind.
Yeah. Okay, this brings up a different conversation that I'd love to get into sometime about the coach of the year, like the way we award it or the way we think about the criteria for it is weird.
Who was the big jump? Who was the
like who were you not expecting to be good? And
it's not like, oh yeah, who did a
like Mike Brown. It was like nobody was expecting him to make that big of a difference, and then he did, so that's why he gets the award. It's different than we treat every other. We don't treat the MVP as in like the most valuable or the most improved player. You know what I mean?
Well, I also think that we treat MVP wrong sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, we can have this discussion about all these awards.
The 76ers are a better team than the Denver Nuggets if you take away Jokic and Embiid.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Like you put, I'm trying to think, like DeAndre Jordan. That's not who the Nuggets backup center is, but my brain's just.
He is when we don't have Jokic. Like he doesn't back up Jokic, but if Jokic isn't playing, we start DeAndre.
Okay, so yeah, is Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and DeAndre Jordan,
Jeff Green,
that point proved itself right there. If that's the definition of most valuable to a team, because some people make that I was like, no, it's just the best player in the league. They just use weird wording.
Mm-hmm.
Stop complaining. Because then you could argue that should there be a reverse MVP? Like John Morant would win it every year? The LVP?
I don't know if we would say that he's the least valuable player, but if you're talking about like the least valuable best player.
Yes, that if you remove him from his team, it's either a net zero or a better improvement.
You in order to qualify for this, you have to be at least arguably the best player on your team.
Kyrie Irving sweeps that every year. If you remove Kyrie Irving, the team never gets worse.
Other than the Nets this year, but that you could argue that was KD.
If KD would have stayed, I don't know if it would have been as but if KD's also what got them all the real pieces, like the Miles Bridges and the
Mikal Bridges. Take it easy.
I am running on fumes to all those listening.
Yeah.
So anyway, game 2 will be interesting. How do you feel like it goes, Logan? Do the Heat, is this the game the Heat steal?
Well, to go back to your question, like that you originally asked which was the 2-man game, stopping the 2-man game.
Sorry.
That's all right. So I feel like the Heat kind of cracked something down the stretch, and I hesitate to say cracked because so the reason why the game got close down the stretch, we were up by like 20 plus going into the fourth quarter, something like that. And it got cut down to like 7, I want to say. And I feel like the reason why is because the Nuggets were taken out of the Jokic and Murray 2-man game down like in clutch time. Basically, we weren't able to go to that anymore because the Heat all of a sudden started running this super funky zone that they obviously were avoiding using against Jokic at first. Like they would use it every time Jokic wasn't on the floor. They would switch to this funky zone that they've been going against with the Celtics and basically against everybody. But they don't want to do that against Jokic because on paper, when you think about it, who's the number one guy in the league you don't want to run a zone against is Nikola Jokic. But I feel like Spoelstra had this in his back pocket as like it's something that he feels like he might need to resort to at some point. If they get
destroyed by the
2-man
game, which every other team has, he just we could fall back on this if we need to.
Mm-hmm. So, it's something that you're scared about Jokic being able to solve, but most likely once you pull it out, it's going to throw the Nuggets off the rhythm because they can't keep going to what's been working. And now they have to, search and try to find something that does work. And it's going to take a few possessions, especially against like the good defenders on the Heat, for Jokic to figure out, what he needs to do. And when you pull that out at the best time possible, down the stretch of the game.
Which is exactly what they did.
Yeah.
They like felt a little bit of life. They said, okay. And then they did it, and it cut it close. Wasn't enough because they were down in a pretty deep hole, but
yeah, but it got them within striking distance. And then it's like right when that happened is when Jokic, there's the one play in particular that I was like, okay, he's got it, which was when he caught the ball, around the free throw line and just high-loaded it straight down to Aaron Gordon for a dunk. And it was like, okay, like he's going to destroy this now. And then every play after that, he either was doing that same type of thing, or if Bam played up to him, like he was, or, if Bam did play up to him, then he would dish it down to Aaron Gordon or somebody on the baseline. But if they were ignoring him because they were playing that pass, then he would just score. And I think he had 16 points with like 6 minutes left in the game, something like that. And he ended with 27. So
he took 3 field goal 4.
He had 3 field goals in the first half.
That's 3 field goals in the entire first half. Mm-hmm. And that's when they looked more dominant. Arguably.
Yeah, we were up by 17, I want to say, at halftime. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Jokic, as soon as he cracked the code or cracked that weird zone, I think that's when he put the game away. I'm a little confused because like the way I feel about it is I don't think there's very many other things you can throw at Jokic that he doesn't already have a counter for, I feel like that's the card that they had to play to kind of throw Jokic off, and they've already done it in game 1. But that makes me a little confused because I'm like, why would Eric Spoelstra do that? I'm still a little scared because would Eric Spoelstra play his back pocket card in game 1? That doesn't make a lot of sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, it's hard for me to ever count out Spo completely from coming up with something. But to me, just thinking about it, it's like, what other things can you try? Like, you know what I mean? That Jokic hasn't already seen. So it'll be interesting. It's really hard, no matter how good of a coach you are, it's really hard to overcome that mismatch in size across every position, and let alone Jokic to Bam. Bam did a good job at staying out of foul trouble for the most part. He didn't pick up his 4th until like at the very end of the game. So that was better than I expected. And Bam was the only guy. I guess Cody Zeller came in and was given an effort guarding Jokic. But they just don't have anybody to defend Jokic unless they want to roll Kevin Love out there. But if that happens, I think the Nuggets offense is going to be Jamal trying to get switches onto Kevin Love every play. And we'll see that happen. And Spoelstra has shown anytime any other team has started to hunt Kevin Love in this playoff run, he's pulled him out immediately. He did that in the Celtics series. He did that with the Knicks as well. So, or no, not the Knicks. Next series was where Kevin Love played a lot. Milwaukee. It was in the Milwaukee series, I want to say. But the other thing is, okay, so you asked game 2, how do I feel? I feel good about the Nuggets overall because of those reasons that I listed of like, it feels like there's not much else the Heat can do. And it makes, I feel like it's similar how everybody was talking about the Lakers after game 1 of that series, how they're like, oh, I'm feeling good about the Lakers because they cracked the code of they figured out something with Rui on Jokic. It was like, that's not going to change this entire series. And it's like, this is a similar type of thing. I feel like once Jokic has seen it, it's not going to get worse. Jokic isn't going to get worse at playing against that type of defense. So feel good about that. People want to point to the Heat. I think you mentioned it earlier, Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent combining for 1 of 17. People want to point to that and say, I still feel good about the Heat because we were able to still be within striking distance in the stretch with those guys having that kind of a game. And I would counter with, everything that I have already said, plus The Nuggets only shot 29% from three that game in game one. And we've shown throughout the whole season to be one of the best 3-point shooting teams by percentage, consistently like a 40% 3-point shooting team. So I don't feel bad there. Porter, by himself was like 2 of 11 from three, and he's like a 43% percent shooter. So feel good about that. I think there was one other thing. I mean, Jamal had a good game. I don't know if I feel like he'll have a dud or two this series. He's kind of always due for at least one of those. So I could definitely see the Heat winning a game, but I don't know about any more.
You don't think it'd be game 2?
I don't think so. I think the Nuggets stay undefeated at home, to be honest.
They did a nice job shutting the door because Miami snuck away game 1 in every series they played.
Mm-hmm.
And that was I think I saw Michael Malone talk about
pregame.
Talk about that. It was pregame, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was the post game, but he said it before the game. Like I saw in his post game thing, he's like, I told the guys.
Oh,
snuck one in Miami, or no, they snuck one against
Milwaukee.
In Milwaukee,
New York.
Snuck one in Madison Square Garden, and then they snuck one in Boston.
Yeah,
not easy places to do it, and they got it done everywhere. So, anyway, that's all I had for what things I wanted to get out. We kind of went all over the place, but
I feel like it was good though. We covered most things. I'm trying to think if there's anything. I mean, Aaron Gordon, we haven't mentioned him bullying, or did we?
We touched on it, but we didn't really get it like fully in-depth dive, but I don't have a ton of time.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, that will be the end of this episode for the basketball stuff if you want to do the game right now.
Sure. We'll just do 3 guys for you unless you want to give me 1 and you do 2. I don't got like as many.
Let's just do 3 guys for me, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. You're better at the game anyway, so are you ready?
I am ready.
Player number 1 is 6'7", 230 pounds. Some of the most elite
Kawhi Leonard
I've ever seen. It is not Kawhi Leonard. This is so. There's the nicknames I've never heard them so good.
Really? This isn't Melo either.
It's not.
Got really good nicknames. He's 6'7", 230.
Entertaining, not necessarily goes by them that I know of, but
is this like an all-star?
No.
Is he above or below 27 age?
Barely above. Like they're above 27.
Yeah.
But it's not like they're in their 30s. They're just
so like 28.
28 or 29.
6'7", 230 in the NBA right now.
In the NBA right now. Actually was a piece of controversy recently. Controversy.
Now I'm...
Say the name you were going to say because I don't want to mess up.
TJ Warren.
Yep, wrong. This player was in the midst of a little tiny bit of like, what a weird thing to do, guy, recently, in the past 4 or 3 months.
That is not ringing any bells to me.
It also might have only been me and people that think like-minded like me that had a problem with this individual.
Okay. Is it something he said?
No, did. Very much did.
On video?
On game, in game. At a game. This is a Big 12 legend.
6'7", 230. Is he like a small forward? Or is he like a big?
Small forward, power forward.
Can he shoot? Is he a good?
Okay, let me check. Yes. Okay. Yeah, for sure. I don't know why he's only listed as a power forward because in my brain this dude's a 3-4, but
he's listed as a power forward.
He's been coached by Fred Hoiberg before.
George Niang. He's only 230.
6'7", 230.
If I in my head had a guess, I would say he's like 6'6", 245.
He's 201 centimeters tall, or 104 kilograms.
He's a thick man.
Nicknames? Do you know him?
Minivan.
I'd never heard.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Oh, I'm surprised. Yeah,
That's
he's
the best one.
He's the minivan. I call him the minivan a lot, so I thought that I've even done that on this podcast. I guess we don't really talk about George Niang.
Nope, never
much. But yeah, the minivan. I don't know what else there would be. I guess
the closer is
the closer. Interesting.
I get it because Niang sounds like minivan, kind of.
I don't think that's why. It's because he's like bottom heavy. He looks like a minivan.
Oh, jeez.
That's what they called him in Utah. I mean, they call him that in Philadelphia too. But the Utah play-by-play guys, that's what they called him.
Okay, you ready for the next one? Weirdly enough, also a Big 12 legend.
Really? Big 12. Okay. So Kansas, Iowa State, Baylor, one of those.
Also one of an all-time great nickname. Oh, that's so good. You know this nickname though, I think, so I'm not going to say it.
Okay. Did you give me the height yet?
6'2", 183.
Bruce, no. He went to Miami. I don't know why I was thinking of him.
Did go to Miami.
I was thinking of him from Baylor for some reason. 6'2". Is he still playing? Like, is he a current player?
Yes. Is not playing in the playoffs, but is still playing.
6'2".
So he currently is not on the Miami Heat or Denver Nuggets roster. Spoilers.
Yeah. Seth Curry went to Duke. I cannot think of very many 6'2" guys. Is he okay? Emmanuel Quickley went to Kentucky. Peyton Pritchard went to Oregon. There's
let me know when you want a little bit more.
Okay, I'll say the age thing again. Is he just give me his age, I guess.
27 and 341 days. So almost 28.
Okay. Terry Rozier went to Louisville. Oh, Devontae Graham?
Nope.
Kansas? But I think he might be 6'1" also.
But this guy went to high school in Beecher, Michigan.
Beecher? Is that... Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Pretty much pointless. The guy's from Michigan.
Yeah.
But is a Big 10 legend. Big 12 legend. Big 12.
Can you give me the college you went to?
Yeah.
Is it really specific? I didn't even hear it. So don't say
specific?
It again.
I think it gives it away a little bit.
Okay, so don't say it again.
The age in the college.
You cut out right when you said it, I think. I think I heard state, though. So
that narrows it down to literally 3 schools.
Oklahoma State, Iowa State. Who's the other state in the Big 12?
Kansas State.
Oh, okay, State.
Kansas State, yep.
So this might be Oklahoma. No, because Marcus Smart's older than that.
Yes, he is.
And he's also a little bit taller than that. So Iowa State. Oh, he used to be on the Nuggets, though. Monte Morris.
Monte Morris. Do you know what nickname is the greatest nickname in the history of basketball?
Is it Mr. Nugget?
No, it belongs to Monte Morris.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to think. I should know his nicknames. So, I mean, Mr. Nugget was a nickname.
That one's not even on here.
Okay. Yeah, that might be a little bit too niche, too local. It's because, like, the DNVR guys, they anoint somebody as Mr. Nugget, and then once that Mr. Nugget leaves, they have to find a new one. So Gary Harris was the original one, and then it was Monte.
Oh, that's a great Mr. Nugget.
Yeah, now it's Aaron Gordon is the Mr. Nugget now.
So is it just okay?
It's like
I feel like it.
He's like the glue guy, or like whoever embodies like the team. It's like a lot of vibe thing more than anything. But okay, yeah. Is it multiple words?
Yes, it's like a well-known name type of phrase thing. I think it's a book. The original like thing that it's playing off is a book.
Is it like a noun?
It's a movie and a book. Yes, it's a noun.
Does it
imply 2002?
Does it imply that it's like a person, or is it like a?
Yeah, it's a title. It's like a title
for a person.
It is it's like a similar to a Mr. Nugget. Yes, but it's not Mr. Nugget.
The Duchess or the Dutch of or the Duke of something, that type of thing.
That vibe, yeah.
Captain, Mr.
What's his name?
Monte Morris. Mountain. Is it Mount something? No?
Nope. Monte's in the name.
Montezuma.
From the halls of Montezuma, that's a no.
Okay. I don't know if I know what this is. Can you say it?
The Count of Monte Assisto.
Never heard that in my life.
I just know that you look at Denver's basketball reference sometimes. It's the Count of Monte Cristo is what it's like to play off of. Uh-huh. But assisto is assist/TO for turnover.
Turnover ratio. Oh, I have seen that. A
Count of Monte Assisto.
Yeah. I have seen that.
That was awesome. Uh-huh. Also, Tay, Big Game, and
Tay.
Man.
Okay, I was thinking of something like that. I feel like I knew. And Tay, I didn't even think that would be on there, but like that's like his name on Instagram and stuff. Pretty sure. But yeah. All right, and that's so weird. They were on the same college team. They were teammates in college.
Yep, they were teammates for sure for Fred Hoiberg.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last one.
6'10", 234.
Is this an Antetokounmpo brother? Is this Kostas Antetokounmpo?
It is not an Antetokounmpo brother, but it is an international player.
6'10", 234. Domantas Sabonis is probably heavier than that.
Similar positions.
Makes sense.
That's why I said it, because it gives you almost nothing.
Yeah.
I guess they're not a straight center.
Okay.
Like Sabonis played straight center pretty much but didn't need. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's at like 4'5". It's the same thing, but that makes sense with his height and weight.
Is he from Europe?
Yes, not from Canada. So yes, he is from Europe.
There's also Africa, and you said he was.
I can only name one player from Africa off the top of my head, and that's Joel Embiid.
Pascal Siakam, Serge Ibaka.
I can keep thinking, but I'm struggling. I was thinking Serge Ibaka is French, but he's not. He just speaks French.
Does he?
Mm-hmm.
Why? He speaks Spanish.
Pretty sure Serge Ibaka speaks French.
Oh, yeah. He's from Congo. That's why. Never mind. Because they speak French in Congo. French colonization is why.
He moved to France at 17 and played in France for a while.
He plays for the Spanish national team. I knew that. But for French, I didn't. That's interesting. So, anyways, it's just kind of confusing. He's from the Congo, but he apparently lived in France, and he's a Spanish citizen.
More you know. Yeah. According to my Google search, all of those are correct.
But this player is 6'10". He's from Europe. Is it? Let's try to do a geography thing. Is it like? Is he from a country on a peninsula? Like Europe, obviously, is a peninsula, but is it? It's one of the mainland ones, like not one of it's not Scandinavia or Iberia.
Nope. It's part of the juice.
So like Germany.
Nope.
I was going to say Maxi Kleba.
Triple Dirks.
Yeah. Is it Russia?
Almost, but no.
So is it north, like it's near Scandinavia, or is it down with the Balkans?
Down with the Balkans. Down with the Get up.
6'10" though. Oh, Nemanja Bjelica?
Yep.
All right. He's from Serbia.
That is true. Next, I was going to tell you his 3-point percentage is the next hint.
What is it?
38.4 on his career.
Yep. He was a good shooter, good passer. He's a good
Still
player.
is.
Yeah. He doesn't play in the NBA anymore, but sadly.
Oh, that's true.
He was on the Warriors last year.
That was last year.
Yeah. I think he plays for somewhere in the Euro League now. But yeah.
It's not listed on here, but Professor Big Shots and Belly.
I remember I knew both of those because he's a really clutch shooter, clutch player. But yeah, anyways, that should wrap up our podcast for today. Went a little bit longer than we were trying to, but yeah, thank you guys for listening. Check out the TikTok. Yeah, there's a lot of things of that type of thing that I should probably announce. Like, yeah, uploading shorts everywhere right now. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, even Twitter. I've been putting them on there. So check all those things out and join the Patreon if you don't mind. I also got an account set up on Buy Me a Coffee, which is kind of the concept of what I was trying to do with the Venmo thing before, how I talked about putting my Venmo in our show description. I replaced that with the Buy Me a Coffee because that's what it's for. It's for, content creators to get like one-time donations. So if you are feeling kindness in your cold, sad heart, or your very generous heart, either one, feel free to show that to me, to extend it toward us. So thank you guys for listening. Really appreciate it. We will talk to you guys next episode.
Peace.